following program on Derana 24 is classified for general audience. It is intended for all ages. It contains little or no violence, no strong language, and little or no sexual dialogue or situations. We would like to remind our viewers that the views expressed in this program by our participating guests are solely viewpoints of them who take part, and does not reflect the views and beliefs of the Derana Media Network.
Welcome down to Gen XYZ right here on Derana 24, where we're bringing to you a different flavor. We're taking you to the wild, the wildlife photography. That is exactly what we're going to talk about. If you're a passionate individual about wildlife photography or even the wild in general, well, this is the person, because he's won a global award for his wildlife photography, and this is Tharindu Sendanayake. We'll talk a little bit more on the other side, of course, with him, but until then, we're bringing to you the aesthetic place. This is absolutely beautiful, by the way. This is the Barnsbury, located in the heart of Columbus 7 at the Barnsbury Place. Don't forget, if you do want to come by, grab yourself a cup of coffee or whatever it is, they've definitely got it for you. So thank you so much. And once again, this is Gen XYZ. We're joining in with Tharindu Sendanayake. Well, Tharindu Sendanayake, first of all, congratulations, because you won a mega award, by the way, in Sri Lanka. So very proud of you for bringing that name into Sri Lanka. But I see this is your magic instrument that has actually made this come true. Tell me what this is and what kind of distance and range can you actually capture?
Okay, so this is not the camera that did the magic. So it was a very basic camera that I had back in the day. So this picture was taken in 2022 December. So back in the day, I didn't have this kind of a huge camera. It was like a small camera which had like basic settings and all that. So this is like actually a really good camera. This is Nikon Z8 paired with 18600 Nikon lens. It's a mirrorless. That's their latest technology. So yeah, this is the camera that I'm doing magic now.
You're doing magic now, okay. Now, obviously, I think what you had was you had wild boars and a tiger, or leopard.
Yeah.
That was a picture that went viral, obviously, and got you this award, the global award. What was the whole story behind it? How did that actually work around for you?
Yeah, so it was about, so we were going to Yala National Park, and then we got these drivers have these small devices where you get the messages and all that. So we got a message saying there was a mating couple sighted near our bungalow area, and then we were like going through there. And then out of nowhere, we got a call saying, okay, the leopards have been spotted. And then we went there, but they were inside the bushes, so we can't really see. So there was a mud pond near the couple, so we anticipated that they won't be going that way, they will be coming this way.
The other way, right?
Yeah, so we parked there, and then we waited about good 2 to 3 hours. And then out of nowhere, a wild boar came and then going towards him. So the female leopard just took off. She went to a tree. But the male leopard, I think he thought this is his day and then this is his kill and all that. So he grabbed the wild boar by his neck, but he couldn't keep it up because the wild boar started shouting. And then out of nowhere, there's 20 to 25 wild boars came out of the jungle and then start hitting the leopard. So leopard couldn't
hitting the leopard.
Yeah, wow. leopard couldn't keep up. Leopard couldn't keep up, and then he had to basically let go of the cane, and then he went off.
And you were lucky enough to capture that moment.
Yeah. So the thing was, they were running towards us, and then
Wow. Now, obviously, you mentioned in terms of in 2013 is the last time that you actually won. Sri Lanka won this award. After such a long time, you brought that pride back into Sri Lanka. What was the whole process like in terms of applying and all of that as well?
So in 2013, Dr. Lalit Ekanayaga won the first prize. After that, there have been couple of wins for Sri Lankans, but not the grand prize. So this is the
grand prize that you won.
Yeah. So the story behind it was like really funny as well. So I show this picture to some of my friends, and then they were like, okay, this is like a really good picture. Maybe we can do something from it. Maybe start putting into the competitions. So I was like a bit scared to put it into the competition. So I was thinking, okay, maybe let's do something in Asia and this is like the biggest competition in Asia, and then hundreds, thousands of Indians basically apply, and then the competition is like huge. So I was like thinking, okay, maybe at least Asiano, okay, I'll put it to this competition and see. So the deadline was like, let's say deadline was today, I didn't have a mind of it. I was going behind a tasker in Capitol level. I got a call saying, okay, there's a tasker, and then I went there. So we were resting in our room, and then one of my friends called and said, Bashang, did you apply for the competition? I said, no, it's not due today, right? And then he was like, okay, it's due tonight, so start putting your pictures. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll do. And then I had the pictures edited and all that. So I started putting, but they had like a huge form where you had to put the story, you had to put the title, everything. So we could apply for 5 pictures, but I could only do 2 because of the time and all that. So I did. I thought this picture would be the first priority, and then I put another picture as well to be on the safe side. So yeah, only 2 pictures and 1 picture won, and that is my first competition I have put ever, and then it won.
Congratulations, Tharindu. Now you put 2 pictures, right?
Yeah.
So the first one is obviously the one that spoke to you the most.
Yeah.
Why did this particular piece really speak to you very closely?
Yeah. So reason behind it was I have never seen such incident in my life. I've seen other kills like where leopard take over wild boar, deer, somebody or whatnot, but I have never seen friends coming to help the kill. Basically what happens is when leopard grab, they just run away because they know, okay, they got one of them, then they just ran away. But this time they stick to with their friend and they start fighting that. So that's why I thought of maybe, okay, this is the picture about resilient and then prey versus predator, and then how the tables have turned. And what the award ceremony guys also, what they told me was that they have also not seen something like this before, so they didn't have any
idea or clue. Yeah.
So they didn't want to like delay the first prize or anything. They was like, okay,
straight up, Tharindu's going to be the winner.
Because it's a rare incident, you can't like there won't be any pictures of like this because it's really rare.
Yeah. And obviously the prey went hungry that day. So now I know a lot of people obviously that are watching right now as well, youth members, right? They're very passionate about photography. They want to do photography, whether it be commercial sector, whether it be the wildlife sector as well. But where do you start? How do they find that passion to make it start?
Yeah, for me actually I had the passion from my childhood days. I've been watching documentaries, I've been talking to friends about wildlife and all that, but it started all when we planned a trip to Yala National Park with my friends, my office friends, and then one of the guys had a good camera. I didn't have one. I had a mobile phone, but we went anyway. And then we were looking for a leopard very long for an entire day, but we couldn't. So around 4 or 5 in the evening, we got a call saying there's a leopard sighting and all that. We went there. Obviously, it was not really close by, and then suddenly the leopard came close to us. So I was able to get a picture from my mobile phone. So I was like, oh my God, these pictures look nice and all that.
Yeah.
So after when we are going home, I asked for my friend's camera, and then I looked at his picture. His picture was marvelous. I was like, what the hell is this? I was like, no, you have to take a camera and do something. So I started, I wanted to get a camera for the next trip. So I got one, and then I went to Vilpattu National Park. So that's when I started capturing leopard. So that's my first capture of a leopard. So after that, it has been a really good journey.
It's been a good journey.
Yeah. To others, like even to tell the story. So if they want to start, they can just start from a mobile phone as I did.
Yeah.
So after that, when you have money, when you have time and all that, maybe you can spend on a good camera and then do the wildlife photography. But the thing is, wildlife photography is not really something that you would able to earn money much. So you have to basically think of ways to do that.
Right. Now you mentioned something very interesting there, Tharindu, that you can't really earn in terms of wildlife photography. Let's be honest here, you're not doing this as a full-time job either. You have your data analyst, that's your prime-time job, right? But then you obviously do this on the side because you're very passionate about it. In Sri Lanka, you have a lot of people that actually take, commercial photography, whether it be wedding photography, event photography, but when it comes to wildlife, you can't earn it. You can't earn anything from it. You spend a lot, from what you mentioned as well. So how do you bring the balance of that? And really, if you want to actually pursue photography, how do you make that your full-time job?
Yeah, so basically what happens in Sri Lanka is the appreciation is really less sometimes. So wins like this would get the highlight of the day and all that, but there are so many good pictures out there. There are so many good photographers out there, but not get the recognition that they want.
That you want, right.
Yeah. The thing is, when it comes to prints and all that, even like Sri Lankan people don't really want to spend money on those. So it's really hard to sell prints or anything like that. So we spend so much on trips and try to get a perfect picture, and then they ask for a very cheap price, and then you can't do it.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to cameras also, compared to wedding and landscape and all that, the wildlife setups are really expensive. So this is not really a very expensive one. There are like with good
far more expensive.
Yeah, good apertures. So it's about 4 mil, 5 mil. So that kind of a range is there for those kind of setups. So if you want to spend money on that and then do this as a full-time thing, yeah, of course you can, but you have to have some money in you to basically do that. But if you want to earn from it, it's a bit hard, I would say. Otherwise, I would do it. But there are ways that maybe you can do wedding photography or event photography or something like that using the same camera and all that, and then do wildlife.
Find the balance in it, basically. Yeah.
So those kind of things that you can do, but it's really hard to spend money from wildlife itself. So there are people who are doing wildlife tours and all that, but it's really rare that someone will pick out of the group and do a wildlife tour, and then it can't be like one-off things. It should be coming regularly for every month if you want to keep it as a
full-time job, right?
Because things are not.
It's not cheap. No, I think we got that straight. Tharindu, as much as it is interesting, obviously from the time that you actually started photography, or we found the passion there. You did it with a phone, but obviously, it must have been it's a very, it didn't have the qualities that you can actually do with today's phone.
Yeah.
Today's phone, the youth watching right now as well, from the very phone that they have, they can edit, they can take the photographies, maybe very close to the, the camera as well, and they can do all of that. But how do they get started when it comes to, is there something called portrait photography, there's something called landscape photography? What are these things? And can you just tell us exactly how they can start off from there?
Yeah, so with a mobile phone, actually, if the object is very close, it will give you a really good picture. Sometimes even if it is something close by, I would keep my camera away, I will take my phone out and I will shoot. So these things happen actually, because when the object is nearby, it's very easy to handle by a phone because these cameras are very heavy and all that even. So doing landscape and all that, it's very easy with a mobile phone. And then if you want to do portrait also, the aperture is really less in a phone, so you have that bokeh feeling where the backgrounds are getting blurred and all that, so you can do something good. And then you can...
Sorry, what did you say?
Bokeh feeling.
What is that? Exactly?
So basically it's about getting object focused and the background is getting blurred, so the object is like...
something like portrait.
Something like portrait.
Okay, right.
So those things can be done using a phone, and then there are good apps where you can edit your pictures. There are marvelous apps out there, so you can get your work out nicely. It's all about how you post your pictures and all that. So basically, with social media and all that, it's now reels and all that. Even I haven't done reels in very long time, but the younger generation, they are into it basically. So if you can do like a really good job with reels and all that, you have the capacity of getting good number of followers and getting some good brands to encourage you and all that.
Endorse you as well, eventually. Right. Fantastic. Now, I know something else that you actually do wildlife photography primarily, even though you spend a lot of money from that as opposed to earning, is because you like thrill. You like the thrill out of it. That's what you're actually seeking. So it's wildlife. It's very difficult. You get bitten by mosquitoes overnight. You have to stay overnight. It's a whole thing. Have you had any incidences that have actually like shocked you and been like, okay, that's it. That's it. Have you had like some of the incidences like that?
Yeah, so I'll tell you two stories with my experience. So one is, this is also in Yala National Park. People who go often to this park knows a tusker called Gamono there. He has had a really good tusk, but he has fought it off. Now he only had like two small things as tusk.
So he spotted off himself.
Yeah, with elephants. He's like the notorious guy there. And then, so he's used to getting food from vehicles and all that. He's known to be a bit of a bad guy. So this guy was, so we have this wildlife bungalows inside the jungle where you can book from wildlife department. So we normally get those bungalows, so you have the advantage of being in the jungle and then it's easy to go out there in the morning or so it's very convenient. So we were coming back to the bungalow after our evening ride, and then this tusker was in the middle of the road near our bungalow. So we were like, try to scare him off. He didn't go. He normally don't really care about the humans. So he was just standing there. And then after good 30 minutes or so, he decided, okay, I should let these people go. And then he started going away. And then we thought, okay, that's incident is over. Okay, we are going to have some good bath and get a good rest and all that. So we went to the bungalow. We normally park the vehicles very close by, so the doors and all that are not really very open to the wildlife. Right. So we do that normally. So it was like a very small passage between the vehicle that it had, and my tracker was texting on his phone, and then I was also looking something on my phone. Near him, we have the beds also in the open area. I was on a bed, and then I was looking through my phone. Out of nowhere, this guy shouted and came back. I was like, what the hell? And then the tusker was right there near him. He has came through that small passage near us.
Okay.
And then there was a plastic water bottle somewhere, and then we start hitting a wall or something, so to make a noise so we can scare him off. So out of we didn't know to do anything else. Even the trackers from the bungalow was on the backside of the bungalow, so there was no in front. So we started hitting that again, and then he went off luckily, but it was like a really close encounter where I saw the tusker within 1 to 2 meters. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, that was one. And then the other one was near Galgamu, the tusker called Ratta. So he's famous for being a bit of a notorious guy. So normally what we do is when we want to take pictures, we keep a good safe distance, so you won't get troubled by the tusker, and then don't want to disturb the animals also when you take pictures. So what we do is we normally take a good distance and we start it, because this thing has a good distance. You don't really have to go near the animals. So we started capturing pictures. So the pictures was nice. We were happy, and then this guy was going that way, and then two guys were there. I think they suddenly saw the tusker and then scare him off. So the tusker had nowhere else to go, started running towards us. I was like, wow, what can we do now? So I was capturing pictures at that time. The tusker was getting bigger and bigger in my frame. I was like, okay, this guy's coming close. And I kept my camera away, and then I closed my door very louder. So it made a big noise. So the tusker got scared of that and went away. Otherwise, it had been
a disaster. My goodness. Okay, so I know obviously there's quite a lot of thrilling stuff there, right? But in terms of the thrill of tuskers and elephants, it's causing quite a lot of distress in the Sri Lankan community right now in the rural areas and whatnot. We'll talk a little bit more on the other side as to what the solutions are for this as well, and why is it being caused. Well, right here on Gen XYZ, we're in conversation with Tharindu and Dilshan, who's actually achieved quite a big milestone in Sri Lanka, especially in wildlife photography. We'll talk a bit more on the other side, right here on Gen XYZ. But until then, jumping into a short commercial break. Welcome back to Gen XYZ right here on Other Derana 24. Well, we're in conversation with Tharindu Dilshan, a global winner of wildlife photography. Well, first of all, congratulations once again on that amazing milestone that you've actually brought so proudly to Sri Lanka. We're very proud of you. But obviously, wildlife, I think on the previous segment we spoke about it as well when it comes to tuskers, elephants and so forth. Wildlife is not an easy game. Okay, it's not an easy game, and I know presently in Sri Lanka there's quite a lot of unrest that's taking place.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rural areas that are actually suffering in terms of their houses, their homes being destroyed because of these wildlife animals, specifically elephants, specifically tuskers, and leopards as well. I don't think leopards is much right now for the moment. I think we're harming the leopards, to be honest, very unfortunately. But the tuskers, let's talk about the tuskers first, and then we'll go in terms of the leopards as well.
Yeah.
Why is this taking place? Now we all know the fact that obviously because they're looking for food, they don't need humans.
Yeah.
That's for starters.
Yeah.
But when it comes to hurting humans, that is a major fault.
Yeah.
And destroying homes, your own house is being destroyed in the night. It's chaos. We're humans. We're going to feel very scared.
Yeah.
It's not a thing you want to survive every single day.
Yeah.
Why is this happening? And do you think it's right if humans actually shoot these wildlife animals?
Yeah, so it's all about living peacefully with both parties. So it's the balance of the nature, in my opinion, where people should be should be able to live with fear. There should be that way that they should also live in freely with their houses in place, with their family members and all that. But in terms of elephants also, it should be the same. It's basically their land. And then we are the ones who have built homes in their place. So basically, these elephants and tuskers have not come out of the jungle. We have gone into the jungle. So it's our fault basically. But now the things have been done. We can't be you can't really ask people to move away from here.
Tharindu, I'm going to cut you off there a little bit, okay? Because I'm going to take in a human standpoint here, because I want to talk for them as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I know a lot of people right now, presently, animal conservatives as well. They say the fact that this is the cause. Why? Because humans have invaded the space of the elephant.
Yeah.
All of this once was actually, wildlife, but we built on things like this.
Yeah.
This is a progressive land that we're actually looking, progressive civilization. Yeah. These humans need space. They need to build their own homes as well. So that should be fine, that they've actually built these homes where where the elephants used to live.
Yeah.
Why? So why not? Why not build homes there?
Yeah, that's the thing. So when it comes to building homes and all that, if you look at the other countries, India and all that, they always think about other ways without invading the space of the elephants and all that, like the jungle space. You can have apartments or whatnot in the towns areas and all that, but not, in my opinion, it shouldn't be the case in terms of jungle. So yeah, of course that there have been houses built and all that. So if it is the case, you have to think of a way where you should be able to live with the animals. You can't be blaming the animal to come into your house because you have built the house in their home basically. So you have to think of ways where you can basically live with the peace with them. So there are people who do agriculture and all that, and then they keep 2 or 3 of their harvest areas to elephants. So then elephants also can feed on it, and then they go. That's how our ancestors also used to do things. But now the thing here is people have been really only thinking about themselves. I'm not blaming them to be of them because of course because of the economy and all that, they have to live off, and then they have to feed their kids and all that. So of course we have to think of a way of doing something for them as well. It's not about killing the animals. So it's the bad side of things when it comes to solving this problem. So we should be able to think of a way where it should be able to live the both parties freely without harming the animals, even without harming the humans. I'm not saying that the houses should be destroyed, that these people should be chasing away from there. It's not the case. It shouldn't be the case. That they should be able to live in their house because they have been living there for a very long time. It's not now a year ago they have built their homes. It has been there for a very long time. And the root cause of this problem is mostly because of the unwanted water coming into these lakes basically. If you think about the Kalawev area, so all these lakes and these spills have sending the water in unnecessary times to these tanks, the Kalawev and all that. So the tanks have been filled all the time. So normally what elephants love to eat is the grasslands where after the water dries out. So the new grass coming on top of the old one. So that's the basic food income of elephants. So because of that, the tanks have been already filled and all that. So elephants have been not getting enough food. So they are coming to the village to seek the food. So it's all about keeping the things there how they were before, and then getting things sold out after that. Right. Because now what we have done is we have reduced their food source, we have done everything to them, we have harming them, and then we are blaming them to come into the village. That's not really ethical at all. Yeah. Because like if we keep their food on, they don't really have to come to the, because I don't think elephant likes to come to a village and start hurting humans, because they
don't need humans in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's why. So we have to keep that things in place, like how Kalababa used to be, how Minneria used to be, how Kaudulla used to be. Now it's always about filling the tank, and then the food sources are really less. So I normally go very often to these parks. Now the Kalababa is not how it used to be. Those is back in the day.
Changed,
back in the day, it was filled with elephants and tuskers. When you go to Kalababa, when you take your camera and then if you turn into a circle, you can see at least 5 tuskers among the elephants. So like that it was. Now we don't have any big tuskers in Kalababa because of these issues. So that's why. So we need to keep the things how they were before, and then we need to start looking into new solutions if it is happening still. But right now the problem, we have done the things and then we don't really change anything, and then now the problem has become chaotic.
So what is the solution here, Tharindu?
Right now, in my opinion, I'm also not really like
fully versed about.
Yes, of course. For me, I would say keeping these tanks clean for at least for the season. Like the water is naturally drained out from the lake, and then the ground area is more, and then elephant have something to eat. So those things can be done in the first stage. So that is what even we have suggested to the to the president and even to the wildlife department. So we have given like a proper letter with all these points and everything. Right. And also the elephants are I think in terms of wildlife, elephants are the most dollars bringing animals in Sri Lanka. So if we able to tell the villagers that they can do something else rather than doing the farming and all that, with the tourism and all that happening, so they have a way of getting the money to their pockets and feed their kids. So it's all about getting the food into their tables now. So we have to think of a new ways of getting that done. So maybe sometimes you are a farmer before, but right now because of the issues and all that, maybe you can change your career into something else and do something, and then they will love the animal because of that, because they know they will earn money because of the animals. Right. So that's what we are suggesting to the government and all that, so that they can do something about it.
So Tharindu, you also mentioned something very interesting when it comes to the suggestions that you've made and all of that, right? Yeah. But you're the only one who is making that suggestion. There's only a handful of people that are making these suggestions. So those that are actually watching in right now as well, right? Those that want to pursue in terms of photography, especially wildlife photography, what is the primary aspect, as you being a veteran? I would say veteran now because you've brought the whole glory to the country now with your award and all that. So what would you suggest, and what would you tell the youth members watching right now as well that want to pursue wildlife photography? Yeah. What should they do first of all when it comes to wildlife in order to pursue this career?
Yeah, so for me, I think my advice would be, if you want to do wildlife photography, always think about the animals as well. Sometimes people think about only getting the right picture, that's about it. Yeah. So they go to the jungle, they get a picture, they edit it, they put it on Facebook, that's about it. That's not about it basically. It's not the wildlife photography that we need in here. It's all about being a voice for the animals that we are taking pictures of. So yeah, of course, we need to think about the human side as well. Of course, I'm not denying any of that. I'm just saying we have to be a voice for the animals as well, because they can't speak. They will what they will do is they will do the other things, but they can't really speak what they are thinking. So we know exactly what they are facing, because when I go to Kalababa, like I said before, we don't really take the pictures that we took those days. So those things are happening. So we know exactly what's changing, because we have the photographic evidence from 2000 whatnot to now. So you have the photographic evidence of what is happening, and then even if you take a picture of elephants now, they are very thin because they don't really have enough food to eat. Yeah. So basically, so you have the photographic evidence. If you come forward with those, and then if you do something about it, that's the way it's going to be changed. So you can do something. You can be a voice for it, because like now we have started doing these campaigns, asking people to gather around us, and then we are trying to push the government also to do the right thing. I'm not saying destroying human homes or anything like that. We should be able to figure out a way we get these things in balance, not really destroying anyone's home. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to push the government to do the right thing, and then I'm asking to everyone to also join with us to basically be a voice for it. And then of course there will be changes, and the changes can be really for the good.
Fantastic. Now let's jump a little bit in terms of leopards and all of that, right? Because obviously you've done that as well. So that's what won you the award as well. So these are very scary species, if I would put it that way. Majestic creatures, but very scary when it comes to humans, because we are food for them. So when you capture all of these moments, how close do you actually stay? Because just in case, man, I'm telling you, just in case, they spot you, they're going to come running to you, and you have no protection whatsoever, right? They're going to come and eat you or bite you, whatever it is, and you have no choice, right? So why is it important to sort of practice when it comes to safe photography as well? That's something very important, right? So why is it important?
So when it comes to leopards, actually their first instinct is to run. They are not really attacking. If it is only comes to food only, they will attack. Otherwise, their first choice is to run. That's their first instinct. Like if you come up with a leopard and if you say, he will run away.
Because, really? Are you sure?
Are you sure? There are instances.
Right.
Of course, there are instances because, like, if the leopard get cornered, of course he will attack. If the mother has cubs and all that, she will definitely attack because she want to protect the cubs and all that. But normally, in my experience and even what the research says is, normally they are very scared species. They will basically run away. But if they are cornered, of course, something can be happen. But when it comes to all these safaris and all that, we are going in these vehicles which that they can see as a big object, not like individual aspects. So they will not really come to attack you. But there can be instances, of course, you have to be very safe for you. So what I would say is, don't do unnecessary things. Don't get down from the vehicle inside of the park, because that's actually prohibited. But sometimes if people want to take pictures, they try to get down, because I have seen instances like that, and we always tell no. But like if you do something like that, the chances can be a bit high, because that's their home and then we are invading their privacy. So it's always about being and doing the right thing. So not taking any risks actually. So for me, actually, I don't really get down any vehicle. I just be on the vehicle, take the picture as it is, and then go home and edit. That's about it.
Is it true that the working when it comes to your final product is more in terms of not the photography per se, but actually the editing part of things? Is that true, or is it like a myth? You got to be honest.
Of course. So in terms of wildlife, you can't be editing much, because the natural colors should be shown. Like if it is like a branch inside the picture, you can't be taking that out. Right now the AI tools are there, you can just
remove it.
But you can't manipulate the picture. You can color correct and all that, but you can't really manipulate the picture. Like if you see my winning picture, there's a small branch got blurred in the picture, but they didn't care about that. Reason being, they want to see the sense of the picture. So in terms of wildlife, the editing is, don't do such things. But if it is the social media and all that, you can basically do whatever the thing that you want to do, and then put it out there nicely. But in terms of competitions, keep it as simple as it is, and then you will get what you want.
All right, fantastic, Tharindu. Now, I know obviously something very important that I want to mention in terms of this entire interview, I feel like this is the important thing, is you do suffer a disability. You suffer paralysis on one of your legs, and yet nothing has stopped you. It's very important that people that are watching it right now as well, why is it important when it comes to whatever disease or whatever dismantle that you have, whatever disabilities you have in your body, it doesn't matter. It does not define you. It's what you pursue in the future is what matters. So we'll talk a little bit more on the other side right here on Gen XYZ. But until then, we're going to jump into a short commercial break. Welcome back to Gen XYZ right here on Other Derana 24, where we're in conversation with a world winner for wildlife photography, and this is Tharindu Sendanayake. I keep saying this because you brought the pride into Sri Lanka, so I'm very proud of you for doing this.
Thank you so much.
Well, we spoke about something very important on the previous segment. This is with regards to the paralysis that you're suffering, right? So I want to know exactly how this took place and where did it stem from and all of that as well, and how are you going forward with right now?
Yeah. So this happened actually when I was about 4 years old. I don't know exactly what happened because of something happened to the nerves or something like that. So they weren't even able to understand, like diagnose what exactly has happened. So after some time, so I started going school, and then it was not something that they focused on. It was like normally like a student going to school, like something like that. Even teachers were like really helping me out in terms of getting adapt to the school culture. I went to Nalanda College, Colombo. Thank you so
very
much.
Well, this is, of course, the Barnsbury restaurant and courtyard is exactly where we are, in case you're wondering where it is. We're quite excited to have, this one is going to be a hazelnut hot chocolate, by the way, which I'm very excited. I'm a big fan of hot chocolate, especially during the season. And definitely come by because it's located at Colombo 7 at the Barnsbury Place. Well, thank you very much, Barnsbury, for hosting us right here on Gen XYZ. Well, with that, have a sip of your hot chocolate as well, and please continue exactly now. You mentioned the fact that you suffered, paralysis at the age of 4, which is very, very young. It's very young, and that, as a child, you don't even know how to process it. So please.
So as I was saying, so my school was Nalanda College, Colombo. So they actually gave me the opportunity to be in the whatnot, like all the exhibitions, all the events, everything. Like they didn't actually think me as a disabled student. They treated me as a normal student. So that actually encouraged me. Like I didn't even feel that I was disabled at that time. Of course, there were some limitations that when it comes to some of the things, but of course, I didn't feel like I was disabled. So I even at my home, I have a brother and sister. My parents treated everyone as equals, not really like, but they were really protective of me. That they were always be protective of me. But of course, they treated me as a normal child. So they let me go everywhere I want. They let me do anything I wanted to do. So they were, if they stopped me doing something, saying that, oh, okay, Puta, you get hurt or something like that, maybe this journey would not be like this. So they didn't stop me doing anything at all. They encouraged me to do stuff, and then they always be behind me to basically be protective of me. So I think that encouraged me to be in this place that I am today. Even when it comes to wildlife, of course, there are so many limitations when it comes to a person who's disabled. So getting into the jeep of the safari.
I could imagine. It's quite high.
Starting from there, it's everything is like very primitive when it comes to the other areas. But of course, I manage. Reason being, some of the because of the good friends I have around me. So when you have right people around you, things get easy. So they always at least carry my bag, carry my camera. So they always try to help me to basically do this. So that actually gave me the opportunity to be this person I am today. So I think I would like to thank them as well in this. Of course, that is that.
Now, I realized something that you mentioned in the previous segments as well. You kept saying, my friends, my friends, my friends. Who are these friends that are actually still coming through you as well, throwing away all of their schedules that they have to come and support you in your career? Who are these friends?
So I have a group of friends I got to know from the school days.
Your childhood friends, basically. Wow, okay.
So they also had the similar interest in terms of wildlife. Some of them are actually photographers, but some of them are not, but they enjoy the wildlife. They enjoy being there in the wild, they enjoy the bungalow situation, they enjoy being on a safari and seeing a leopard and all that. So, of course, these friends are actually the first priority of my life when it comes to friends.
First priority of your life. Wow, that's a very deep one, man. Very deep one.
And then I got to know good friends from wildlife photography itself. When it comes to the industry, there are really good friends around me who have motivated me to go beyond my limitations, who have always been there for me to basically get everything done. even for the competition, like I mentioned, there were friends who pushed me to do this. I was not really going to do anything like that, but they saw the picture and they were like, man, you should
Go
do
for it.
Go for it.
Yeah,
Go for it.
yeah.
So I would like to thank them as well. So these are the people who actually behind me. So I would say this is not a win that only for me. It's only like all.
It's a win for all of your
us.
friends as well.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Now, why is it important for someone watching it right now as well? Why is it important that support is a very key factor despite any of your challenges that you would suffer, when it comes to your situation as well? Why is it important that you have a good support system in making sure that your career and your success is actually defined by what they support you?
Yeah. So it's all about having the right people around you for me. From my day one, from my school to up to now, I have been with really good people around me. I'm very lucky in that area. Of course, these people always think you as a really good friend, and they want to do something for you always. They always encourage me. They always do some right by me. So that's why I think you need to have a good support system. You don't need to be a disabled or anything like that. You just have to be a person, a human being. So you always need to have a good support system. So you know exactly, okay, when things are down, you have someone to call to. And then they will pick up the phone and then they will answer, they will be there for you. So you always need to have someone like that or some friends like that. Or maybe some partner, something like that. I don't say friends only, but there should be a support system in your life, because sometimes you can't do everything alone. There are times you feel down, you feel disoriented or something like that. So you always feel like you need some push to go into the right direction. So in my experience also, it's kind of something like that. So there are times I've been thinking, okay, because of my leg I can't do this and all that. So what they always try to say to me is, there are things that you have done not even
far worse than that.
So you can do this, don't worry about it, you can do this. There are people who have all the legs, all the hands, everything, but still do nothing and stay at home. So you are way better than that. So this is something you can do, don't worry about it. So that encouragement, that motivation is always there for me. So even for others, I would say, have a good support system, so you'd have that push.
All right, fantastic. Now, I know there's quite a lot of people that are actually watching it right now as well, that are youth members who might have suffered some kind of disability that you've actually suffered as well. Some people, at the age of, let's say 31, because that's the age you are. I'm exposing you there a little bit, okay? But 31, and they still have that passion, but they're not sure, can I actually do photography? Can I do wildlife photography? Can I do something else in my life? Because I do have this disability.
Yeah.
How do you actually maneuver around that? How do you debunk that thought? Doesn't matter. I don't care what has happened to my body. I will overcome that and I will pursue what I want to pursue in my life as success. How do you do that?
Yeah, so always first get to know your passion. For me, it was wildlife. For someone else, it could be something else. So there are easy things to do, but there are hard things to do. But if your passion is something harder, of course you have to try harder. If it is something easy, of course you have an easy way of getting it done. But if it is something hard, you need to push hard yourself, because sometimes it's not about getting the right picture, like in my case, not getting the right picture or anything like that. It's just going out there. So sometimes it's like that. So small step at a time, and then you will know, okay, I did this, maybe I can do this, so something like that. So always try to push your limits, always be on top of you, always be positive, like you can't do anything about it. No? So let's talk. If you talk about my leg, I can't fix it. So should I be worried about it, or should I be okay? That's it. It's done. It's done deal. Maybe I should focus on something else. So something like that. So you don't need to be tagged to that. So you have to be basically overcome that and then do some. Of course, you have to be protective of yourself, because sometimes, if you feel like, okay, this is not something that I would do, of course, take a step back and see whether it's something that you can do. If not, always push yourself. Always have the right people also. They will also help you to push you.
Okay. Now, I want to mention something that might be a little controversial, but we're going to mention it, right? Yeah. Now, I see you, obviously, when I came to meet you, I saw you limping a little bit, right?
Yeah.
You're still walking. It's not that your entire leg is paralyzed,
Yeah.
you still do walk.
Yeah.
Is there a certain support system that you use in that, or how does that work? Because
Yeah,
I
so
saw
I
you
have
still walk.
so I have something like a metal caliper around my leg. So what happened is my leg has been paralyzed, like halfly paralyzed. It can sense things,
Right.
but not really able to put a strong pressure to walk. So what what I have done is I have created like a customized parallel metal caliper parallel in my leg, and then it has been strapped to my leg, so it helps me to walk. So that's
Okay,
it. Yeah.
right.
So that's what I'm saying. So sometimes since it's metal, after wearing it for good 10-12 hours, you start feeling pain and all that. Of course, things are like that are there, but you have to be how would it say, like, be away from that. Like you have to do something about it, like maybe like wear a sock or something like.
Right.
So yeah, likewise, I have always suggested myself. But if you be fixated on that, you would never overcome it. So I would say, okay, man, let it go.
Yeah. Because see, I think someone watching it right now as well would think, okay, he's paralyzed, right? One leg is paralyzed. And he does something so thrilling. Imagine a leopard or a tiger comes chasing him. What is he gonna, I was like,
Yeah,
this is the
of
thing.
course, yeah,
but
yeah.
that's what you're saying. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You got to go out there, just strive for what you want to do, and make it a success. And look at you today. You're such a pride and joy to Sri Lanka because you've made that impact in bringing that world record in here. Making that award as well. Congratulations, Tharindu, honestly,
Thank you so
right?
much.
So as we actually come to an end of this interview, I'd like you to give a few words of inspiration to the youth members watching that want to pursue when it comes to your field, which is wildlife photography, or even just photography in general.
Yeah. So I would say start with a mobile phone. Maybe start with what you have. Don't think about what you don't have. Think about what you have and do what you can do from that, and then maybe try to push your limits. Always push your limits. Always have the good people around you. They will tell you what to do if you don't really know what to do. And then always push your limits. That's my advice. Push yourself. When you do hard working, you will get what you want. You will get the results. Don't worry.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, Sand, for actually doing this with us. It's been
Thanks so
quite a
much.
great pleasure talking to you. With that, well, this is a wrap on Gen XYZ. Don't forget, if you do miss out on an episode, we are available on youtube.com/Other English. And with that, we shall be back with a different pioneer or pioneers who've actually made it in the industry, giving you a little bit of a different flavor as well, right here only on Gen XYZ. Well, thank you so much for actually doing this. It's been quite a pleasure as well. And then let's just consume some stuff, because this is like the end shot, right? So we just go with it.
Yeah.
And
Take no more. You said I